Hi, welcome. Very good morning to you. It's Jim from maverickstar Observatory. I thought I'd kick off the week with some topics that would cause, remarkable debate. And I've been looking at a few certain issues with these topics, and I really wonder, how much humanity is left actually in human beings. I want to just first of all say, how do you feel about your money being worth half of what it was a month ago? As the world, dives into hyperinflation. Overnight here in the UK, electricity bills doubled, and they're going to go up again in October. And the politicians that are supposed to look out for people are looking out for corporations. We all know this. We are looking at Articles 10 and 11 of the Human Rights Act here in the United Kingdom, and what country you're in, you'll have some similar basic fundamental human rights, which stops, or supposed to stop, your governments infringing on those basic liberties. And what we witnessed today, and they won't admit it, because admittance would mean that they had actually infringed on them, but the governments use corporations now to infringe on those liberties. And it's a loophole that governments all around the world are exploiting. They're saying we live in a democracy, and it's no such thing anymore. And the reason why I started off this video saying that there wasn't a lot of humanity left in humans is because it's absolutely damn true. You just take a good look around you and you will see what I'm talking about is already happened. We are probably 11 months away from some big and interesting anomalies taking place with relationship to our magnetic North Pole migrating at the rate it has been. But in the common sense of everybody's simple day in life, it just doesn't. It's not even a consideration for a lot of people. They don't care. What they care about is how much the loaf of bread costs. What they care about is whether they can switch on the light in their homes and be able to afford it. Or they care about things like when they go to the pump station, whether they can afford to put fuel in the car. So these are the common things that we're all having to deal with on a given time scale every day of our lives. And it's just getting to the point where it is about to completely break down globally. There is no democracy. You must realise that by now. And every time it is the hard-working person that gets pushed down further on that ladder. And it's got to the point almost where there is no more rugs left on the ladder. The person will be hanging on by his hands at the bottom of the ladder, and the ladder is so far away from the ground that if they let go of that last rug with their hands that they're just barely gripping on with now, they will fall. And there'll be no soft landing for them. It will be the end game for them. That's where we've arrived today. We thought we had freedoms. We thought, our futures did have some sort of security, but clearly they don't. We are being fed lies by all the mainstream media. They are coming after people who are trying to educate people in the realms of truth with what really is going on in the world. And all our freedoms, along with what I've just mentioned, are going rapidly. I got it, somehow, what it's like when you're on YouTube. You get one video come up, and then down the side you'll have a lot of suggestive videos. And I come across this video with Joe Rogan. It was a video that he'd done a long time ago, but it was talking about the word woke or wokeism. What does it mean? You know, it's that subject that discusses race, gender, politics. And I was watching the Australian elected members of Parliament be questioned on what the definition of a woman was. And none of them wanted to answer. Some of them said that they would get back at a later date, and these were people that were professors. And the reason why they didn't want to answer the question, because it's a very simple question to ask and answer, if you ask me. But in today's political politics, it's one answer away from you being fired if you don't get it right. Yet, you know, we all know what the definition of a woman is. It's opposite to the definition of a man. A man has a pair of testicles and a cock. A woman has a vagina and some ovaries. You know, no other species in our kingdom on this earth gets that one wrong. Yet we are the only species that seems to have a problem now identifying what, you know, sex we are, because of because it might be politically incorrect to do so, because you might offend somebody. You know, people have lost their jobs over that same question, and through answering it incorrectly, being accused of being gender racist. You know, this is the reality that we're all part of living in today's society. It's how wrong we're getting it. We're screwing up. And I will say this: if we don't get our acts together, start working together, what we are witnessing and putting up with now will get much worse. You must understand, you know, if you keep giving an alcoholic alcohol, then he'll continue being an alcoholic. If you keep giving somebody that is addicted to drugs more drugs, they will become addicted further to that. The way to stop it is by cutting out the addiction. And we've got a problem, because there is no shut-off mechanism for the mentality of world leaders right now. You can't protest like it states that you're allowed to in the articles of human rights, because we know what happens. Justin Trudeau showed us what happens in Canada when he elects, you know, the Emergencies Act, so we can override those freedoms that we're supposed to lead to believe we've got, where it allows us to protest. You know, he went out after money that had been fundraised for people, and quite clearly and happily told people on the media that we've got their money. The public had raised 10 million for the truckers, protesters, and Trudeau went into the bank and took it. And we're seeing this. They pick and choose who the bogeymen are. It was just in that case, it was the truckers. You know, we move over to what's going on in the east with Russia and Ukraine. You know, it's sanctions on the oligarchs. You know, we saw Roman Abramovich lose Chelsea Football Club in the blink of an eye, where a £5 billion investment was just stole from him because some emergency laws was rushed in. I believe they managed to get the Queen to sign off on a royal assent emergency law to be passed, which would entitle them then to go after oligarchs' money. It's a joke, and it's a joke what we're seeing in the Ukraine right now, because the West is pacifying Ukrainian leaders and people that they will be held accountable for the war crimes. I will tell you right now, you know, I am very sympathetic to what is going on in Ukraine and the loss of human life and all that, but I will promise you this: there will never be a day where anyone that has committed any atrocity in Ukraine over this war appear in any courtroom, because it is the policy of Russia to not extradite anyone that seeks refuge in that country. That is their promise to the people of its country. So good luck with that. The only justice any Ukrainians are going to get is if they can get their hands on those soldiers that are committing those atrocities and do it before Russia retreats back to its own borders and boundaries. Because nobody will see a day or an hour in court. And if you don't believe me, let's just go back to Edward Snowden, who has taken refuge in Russia. How well has the FBI and the CIA done so far in getting him extradited back to the United States to face any disciplinary action for what he's done? They haven't, have they? If they can't get Edward Snowden, do you think they're going to get the tank driver that ran over women and children in the Ukraine in court? Do you think Russia's going to hand him over? They won't. You know, they're telling people lies in Ukraine right now. There will be no account for any war crimes that has taken place. This is the world we live in. You know, we are right now, in a lot of cases, self-censorshiping ourselves. You know, we are regulating our own behaviour because we are on one hand told we have freedoms, and on the other we are proven that we do not. That, you know, the only thing I can say with regards to Ukraine is what made Ukraine was the people of Ukraine. And there has been a lot of people leave Ukraine over the last month when this war started. So I question, what is Ukraine now? It's just sad, some of the images that I've seen where brave men, husbands, have kissed their wives and children goodbye and joined, you know, the territorial army in Ukraine to fight the Russians. A war that they're being encouraged to fight by the West when they've got no chance of succeeding, although we are being shown that there's been a withdrawal of Russian troops from Kiev in Ukraine. It's just that they've been redirected to the south, the Donbass and Lugansk region of that country. But Russia is naturally a country with far more weapons, technology, and they're already engaged. Ukraine really doesn't stand a chance. What these brave men and women should have done when they left was left together. Because I don't think there's a country worth dying for in this world. You know, for those people that read the Bible, you know it, how close we are to being confirmed that it's all over. We know about the behaviour of people and how it will be in those final moments mentioned in the tribulations of that book. We've seen it firsthand, you know, the behaviour come full swing round that was described in the final moments of that city that was destroyed, Sodom and Gomorrah. We know what the behaviour of the people were like. It's rampant right now. You know, even the churches are marrying same sexes. It's humans have lost the complete control and of any sense, if you ask me. You know, when you look at such words as wokeism and really understand it, you know that there is no freedom of expression anymore. Because you've got to be politically correct. You will censorship yourself before you even start bringing up the topics. And if you do, and you're on the wrong side of the line, you'll lose your job over it. This is the insane world we're in. But you know what? None of this really makes any difference to most of us, because we're not in the Ukraine being bombed right now, are we? You know, we've got our bacon sandwiches, bacon and eggs at the moment. Yes, our currencies have devalued overnight by 50%, and they're going to continue to do that. And we are in a crisis with regards to the climate change on this planet. But it's not for the reasons that these governments are suggesting, that, you know, this is a situation brought about by people emitting too much CO2 into the atmosphere. Because I guarantee you this much: if we all drove electric cars tomorrow and our electricity was produced by wind generation and solar power, the climate problems that we face would not go away overnight. The climate changes that we are experiencing are very simply understood. You know, we've been talking about this for a long time on this channel. Just thought I'd give you, you know, a few other things to think about. Maybe you're on your way to work, or you might be coming home from work, depending on where you are in the world when you're listening to this. It's just, the world doesn't seem to make any sense. And I don't know about you, but, you know, you would have thought at this point in time, with our level of technology, things would have improved, not got much worse. But that's exactly what has happened. It's like we have created a hell on this earth when we could have, and we had the opportunity to create a heaven on this earth. We chose, as a species, to let these demons, wicked, evil, cruel, greedy, corrupt people lead us down to this road. It's just a joke. Until people figure it out, it's very simple. Until people really figure it out, nothing is going to change. You have to work together. It is not about making sure you have your bacon and eggs on your table whilst other members of your community or people that live in your street have nothing. It's not about that. Because if we see more of it, well, you know as well as I do what will be the outcome. Guys, there's a link down there if you want to help support what we do. You know, we are trying to get the word out to people about the truth of some of the things that we face in this awkward time. You know, if you want to be part of that and you want to help support us, there's a link down there in the description. And the only other thing I've got to say really is, you know, you try and look after your loved ones and your community members as best you can. As always, bye for now.